Now we are going to start our second chapter. First of all, what is instruction? C is a sequential programming language. What does it mean? It means the execution of code is step by step and follow the top to bottom approach. What does it mean? You can see the C code here. First of all, our compiler see this header and it include all the necessary thing that include in this header file, and after that it search for main method or main function, which is the entry point of our program, and after that it see this variable and give value to my value variable 450, and after that it see float type variable pi and it give 3.4 value because we assigned this value, and after that it see a character type variable letter and having some value e and it assign, and after that it see the print function, see that user want to print the value of the letter, then it print, and after that it see return 0 and it return 0 and execute the program. This is the flow of this program. Okay, now after this we have three types of instruction. First is type declaration instruction, second is arithmetic instruction, and third is control instruction. Now first of all, let's discuss about type declaration instruction. Here you can see we have valid statement and invalid state. What is valid statement? First of all, you can see int a equals to 20, that we already see. We can assign this value while declaring and it will not give me any error. It is satisfied. Okay, now after that int b equals to a. Now we will see if is it valid or not, but just accept this. For now it is valid because we already declare and it have 20 value in a and it will assign to b, and after that b also having 20 value, and after that we assign a variable c with value b plus 1 means 20 plus 1, which is 21, and after that we declare a variable d having value 1 and we separate with comma and initialize another variable e, and after that you can see we have p comma q comma r comma s. We can declare multiple variable in single line. It is not giving me any error, and after that we declare all of these variable with value 1. We will see if it is give me any error or not, but here you can see it is not valid. Why it is not valid? Here int a equals to 20, it will not give me any error, but you can see int b equals to c, but here we don't have any c. We have c here but we didn't initialize any value, so how can we assign this value to b? It will throw an error, and after that you can see we define c equals to d plus 1, but d is initialized after c, which will give me an error because while using d we don't initialize. First we have to initialize the value. You can see this line, first declare the variable then use it, but here we do opposite. We first use the variable and then declare, which will throw an error. Now let's check it out what error these things give me. Okay, now you can see I open my Visual Code Studio and here you can see we have two files. First is hello.c, which we created in our first video, and when we compile this code the a.exe file is automatically created, that is having code in 1 and 0's form that our machine understand. Okay, now here I just remove this all of this statement. Okay, Now here we first declare int a equals to 10. Okay, now after that we define another variable int b equals to a, and after that we use int c equals to b plus 1, and after that we use int d equals to 1 comma e, and after that we use int p comma q comma r comma s, and then semicolon, and after that I use p equals to q equals to r equals to s equals to 1 and semicolon, but not 2. Okay, now let's compile this and run the code, executable code, and see whether it gives me an error or not. Just use compiler, create new terminal, and here you have to write gcc dot gcc space hello dot c and hit enter, and after that you use dot backslash a dot exe and hit enter. You can see we don't have any error. It means we successfully compile and run the code. Okay, now after this I remove this all, and here I declare int a equals to 10 again, and after that I declare another variable int b equals to c plus 1, and after that I declare int c equals to d. Okay, now here I declare another variable int d equals to 1. Okay, now here you can see this is already giving me error that define identifier. Okay, you can see. Now let's run and see the error. Just use gcc.hello.c, hit enter. You can clearly see undeclared variable c. You can see in the first line, and the second error we have d is not declared. Okay, means we cannot use the variable first and then declare. We have to first declare the variable, and after that we use the variable. Now after that we have another thing, int p equals to q equals to r equals to s equals to 1. Now let's save and see the result. Just hit enter. You can see p undeclared, but we declare the variable and assign the value, but it is not working like that. Our assignment operator starts from right and goes to left. You can see first it c1 and seeing this variable s and assign the value, and after that it see this and it will not recognize r, it will not recognize s also, because we already use int for p, but we use equal sign. That's why these variables are not declared. First we have to here use this type of thing, p comma q comma s comma r. Okay, now after that we use p equals to q equals to r equals to s and equals to 1. Okay, now these all variables are declared. Okay, now here you can see one is assigned to this variable s, and this s variable value, which is 1, is assigned to this r, and this r value is assigned to this variable q, and this q variable value is assigned to this variable p. Okay, this is working like that. If you want to see the value of p, you can do that, printf, and here you can just provide the value of p and equal sign, and here you can use %d and here you provide comma and p. Now after this we have to provide the semicolon. Now here we have to run this code, and after that we use this command. You can see this is one. Here you can use, instead of p you can use q, and you find the same result, and just change, leave it, and hit enter, hit enter, and then use this command. You can see the value of q is also 1. Okay, so this is the way you can declare variable and their type. Okay, now we are going to discuss about arithmetic instruction, or you can say arithmetic expression. Here I write an expression a plus b. Now here a and b are the operands, operand 1 and operand 2, and plus is an operator. Instead of plus we can write minus, multiply. For multiply in C or in any language we use asterisk or star, you can, and we can use backslash for divide. Okay, now here you can also write 3 plus 4, 3 minus 4, 3 multiply 4, and 3 divide by 4. You can write these statements also in numeric value, or you can use with the help of variable. Okay, now after this we talk about valid statement and invalid statement. Here first we have to multiply or divide or perform arithmetic operation and store in a variable to check the value of the operation. Okay, arithmetic operation. Here we plus b plus c, and after that we store, assign to this value to our variable a. Similarly here we multiply b into c and store to this variable a, and we divide here and store to this variable a. But here we reverse. Here we plus b plus c equals to a, which is incorrect. Why? Because our arithmetic start from right and goes to the left. Start from right and goes to left. It means we cannot start from left and goes to right. That's why it is incorrect. And here you can see a equals to bc, but in mathematics you sometime often see bc means b into c. Mathematically it is correct, but according to any language it is wrong. Why? Because it does not understand what is bc. That's why it will give us error. If we provide this asterisk, it understand that we have to multiply b into c, but when we provide b and c, it will not recognize. Similarly, for exponential term we cannot use directly this number. We use math function, which is power function, power b comma c. This is the base and this is the exponential power. Okay, now this is also incorrect. It will give us some random value. Okay, now let's check how it will look like when we do in our compiler. Okay, now let's check it out how it will work. Okay, now here I create a variable int a comma b comma c and give semicolon, and here I provide b equals to 20, c equals to 30, or I provide reverse, b equals to 30, c equals to 20. Okay, now after this I provide here a equals to, and here I provide b plus c. This is an arithmetic operation, and after this I provide here printf, and here I provide the result. Okay, now here I use %d, and after that I provide comma, and here I provide a, and after that semicolon. Now let's save, and you can see the result will be 50. Now let's check it out. I provide here gcc hello c, and after that I run with the statement dot backslash a dot exe. You can see the result is again 50. Now here I use multiply, or I just use minus first, and after that recompile it. You can see 30 minus 20 is 10. Okay, now after this I use multiply. For multiply we use asterisk symbol, and the multiplication result is 2 into 3 is 6, that means 600. Okay, now here I use this the line of instruction again and run. You can see the answer is 600, which is correct. And after that we use here divide symbol. You can see the division will give us 1.5, but it will give me only 1. Why? Because we are using int type, and the integer variable result always is integer. Now let's check it out. Here you can see it is integer. If I change this int with float, then you can see the exact value. Now let's save first and then recompile it. Okay, we have to provide here 0.0 and here also 0.6. Now after this, let's run this again. Okay, here you can see we want the result in integer and we provide here float. That's why it gives us this type of error. Here I change this d with f, and now let's run this again. Now you can see we got the exact value, which is 1.5 and 0. It depends on how many 0 it give you, the type you are using here. Okay, now after this let's talk about the invalid statement. Here you can see we provide the same thing, but here we reverse the statement. Here we use b plus c equals to a, and we are printing the value of a again. Okay, I just use clear, and after that I use this command. You can see one value required as left operand of assignment. We cannot do this because here we want an assignment operator, but we use here expression, and here we use assignment, which is wrong. Okay, now after this I just remove this because it will give us error. A equals to b c, and after that we use semicolon. Now let's run this code. I just clear first, and after that I run this code. You can see again we have an error which tell us undeclared variable bc, means it treat as a variable and it is undeclared. If I declare this value as here bc equals to 4.3, and here I use float. Okay, now let's provide here semicolon, and after that let's run it again. You can see it will give me the value. It means it treat as a variable when we join this b and c. Okay, now after this we have power function. I just here provide this shift plus 6 in your keyboard. You can find in after the letter from A to Z. You can see the top of your keyboard. Okay, now here it will not recognize b power c, but let's clear this first and hit enter, and after that I run this code. You can see invalid operand. This is not an operand. Okay, the operator, you can say that it is not a valid operator. Okay, Now after this we will discuss about more operators in C. Okay. Now let's talk about the other operator of C. We already discussed about what is plus, minus, multiplication and divide. And now let's talk about modulus, increment operator, decrement operator. Modulus is used when we want the remainder between two number, for example 20 or 30. If we want the remainder of 20 divided by 30, then we use modulus operator. Now let's talk about this in detail. Now here you can see when I declare int a comma b comma c, here I use b equals to 30, c equals to 20. Okay. Now if I use a equals to b modulus c, then what it do is it divide. Here I use 30 here, and here I use 1, and we know that the 30 is not come in the table of 20. That's why I use 20, and here I provide 1, and after that I minus, it will give us 0. Minus 3 from 2 is 1, and this is the remainder. Okay, remainder, and this is the answer. It will store in A. Okay, we will discuss about more, but here what I want to tell you is when we use modulus between two operand, it will give us always the remainder of the number. Okay, here if you use 3 and 2, it will give you the remainder 1, and if you use 2 modulus 2, it will give you the remainder 0, and similarly you want any remainder between the two operand, then it will give by this operator modulus. Okay, now after this we have increment and decrement. What does it mean? When I use here b plus plus, it means b equals to b plus 1. And what is the value of b? The value of b is 30, and after this it will 30 plus 1, which is 31. Now when you perform this statement, it will increment the value of 30 by 31, and the current value of b is 31. And similarly if you use c minus minus, then it will what it will do is c equals to c minus 1, and it will give you 20 minus 1, which is 90, and you can see it will decrement by 1 value when you use c minus minus or decrement operator. Okay, now let's check it out in our code editor. Okay, now let's do that. Here I provide int a comma b comma c, and after that semicolon, and here I use b equals to 30, c equals to 20, and after that I use a equals to b modulus c, and after that semicolon. And now let's print this value by printf function, and here I provide the remainder, the remainder of 30 by 20 is equals to %d, and after that I use here a, and after that semicolon. Now let's run this code. I just clear first, and here I use GCC, and here I use this statement, and you can see the answer is 10, which I already told you. Now here I just remove this 0 and this 0. Now run this code. You can see it is 1 because we changed the value, and 3 divided by 2 give you the remainder 1. Okay, now one thing I want to tell you is, when you use modulus operator, always use integer data type, because when you use float, it will give you decimal value and it will not give you any remainder. That's why it will give you error if you use, instead of integer, you use float. I'll show you when I use float here, and just run this by float f, and now just run this code again. You can see invalid because we have used float and we are using operand of binary which is supporting by the integer. It will not give you any remainder. Okay, that's why we cannot use this. Okay, and after that, now I just undo this. Here I undo this, and after this I just remove this, and here I use b plus plus and c minus minus, and after that let's print this value. Here I use b and I just copy and paste, and here I use c and I just remove this, and here I just, this is this value increment by 1, and here I just copy this same line and remove this line and paste this, and here I use decrement. By 1 value. And now let's run this code, and after that see the result. Here you can see we got both the value in the same line. Why? Because here we not use backslash. If you want next line, just use backslash n. Now let's rerun this code. Now you can see it is in next line. If you want another line, you can use here also backslash n. Okay, now after this, so this is how you can use modulus and plus plus and minus minus operator in C. Okay, now let's talk about type conversion of arithmetic operation. Here, if you perform integer operator, integer means integer data, for example 4 plus 3, then it would be integer type 7 is integer type, okay. Now similarly, if you provide 4 plus 3.2, then answer would be 7.2, which is float type, or you can say real number. Okay, now similarly, if you provide 4.4 plus 3.3, which is both of our real number and floating data type, okay, then answer would be 7.7, and it is of float type. Similarly, if you in programming language using integer and integer, then the result will be integer. And if you perform division, make sure the number is completely divisible with the other number, otherwise it will give you only the integer value, not the decimal point value. And similarly, if you add a float number in a integer, then it will give you only the float value, or maybe it will give you an error. That's why make sure you are not doing this type of thing. And when we use float data type, then we can plus float with float, and we can also add integer values also. Okay, now let's talk about the operator precedence. Precedence means priority, to operator. Okay, now here you can see multiplication, division and modulus in our top list, which is having high priority, and equal, which is having low priority. Okay, and plus and minus having equal priority, and this multiplication, division and modulus having equal priority comparing to each other. Okay, now here you can see we have an expression we can solve with two methods. We can first add this value and after that multiply with 4. Now let's do that. First we plus addition 20 plus 4, which is 24, and then multiplied with 4, which give us 90. And similarly we can do first multiply with 4, which give us 80, then plus it will give us 84, and according to our precedence rule it will 84, not 96. And after that you can see this type of expression, how it will evaluate. In this case we have associativity rule, which starts from left to right. It means from left we start calculation from left and it goes to the right. First it will multiply this 12 into 3, which is 36. 36 divided by 4 give us 9. 9 into 2 give us 18. Okay, now let's do that in our VS Code editor. Okay, here I first declare int a, and after that here I provide a equals to 4 plus 20 into 4, and after that I provide print f, and here I provide the value of a is equals to %d, and here I provide a, and here I provide semicolon. Now we already see the value of this. Just compile this code, and after that we will run this code. You can see it is 84. We already see this. Now after this we provide here 12 multiplied by 3 divided by 4 and then multiplied with 2. Okay, now this will give us 18. Now let's do that again. You can see this give us 18 value, means it first calculate this value and after that it will divide with 4 and then multiplied with 2, because it follows the left to right associativity rule. Okay, now one thing I want to tell you, if you want some specific instruction calculated first and then another statement calculated, then you can prioritize according to your need. You can just use parenthesis here. If I want first multiply this and then I want multiply by this two number, 4 into 2 which is 8 and 12 into 6 which is 72, and then divide both of them, which will give us 72 divided by 8 give us 9. Okay, now let's do that and compile this code and run this code. You can see our answer is 9, because we prioritize according to our need, not using the left associativity rule or right associativity rule. You can just use here plus operator and it will first add and then add this number and after that it divide. Now you can just compile this code and we can run this code. You can see first it add 12 plus 6 is 18, 4 plus 2 is 6, 18 divided by 3 give us 3. Okay, now let's talk about more about operator. We already see arithmetic operator. Now we are going to see relational operator, logical operator and assignment operator. We will discuss about this bitwise and ternary operator in our future chapters. Okay, Now let's discuss about relational operator. Relational operator is, first you can check the equality, you can check the greater than equal to or less than equals to. Okay, now you can also check not equals, means here we have 4 and 4. We cannot check with this 4 by using equal operator. Mathematically it is correct, but if we want in computer language, then we use double equal to check whether this 4 is equals to this 4 or not. Then we can use double equal operator. Similarly, if we want to check 4 is greater than 2 or not, then we can use this angular bracket, which is greater than, and if we want this equal sign, then we can use greater than equals to. Greater than equals to. It is not equals to, this condition is false, but you can see this greater condition is true, that's why it is true. Okay, now we will see how it will work also. Now after that, if we check 4 is less than 9 or not, then we can use this operator less than, or if we want to check less than equals to, then we provide here equal sign. And if we want to check whether two numbers is equal or not, then we can also use 4 not exclamation means not equals to 6, then we can use this operator. It will give us true because 4 is not equals to 6. Okay, now let's see how it will work. Okay, now here what I'm going to do is I declare a variable int, and here I provide a comma b comma c and then semicolon, and here I use c equals to a equals to b. But here first we have to declare the value of a equals to providing 4, and b equals to, again I provide 4, and after that I'm going to check whether a equals to b or not, and if it is true, then c having value 1, and if it is false, then it will give us c equals to 0. Okay, now let's print with the help of print f, and here I provide check the condition. Okay, now check the condition 0 0 or 1. Okay, now here I provide equal, and here I provide %d because 0 or 1 is also integer type, and here I provide c, and after that I provide semicolon. Now let's run this code with the help of gcc, and after that we run this dot backslash a dot exe. You can see it will give us 1, means it is true. Now I just change this value 4 with any some value, like I provide 3. Okay, now after that I run this code again and then check the value. You can see it is giving me 0, means it is not true. Okay, now after this I use a is greater than, I just first use greater than b or not. Now you can see 4 is greater than 3, it will give us 1. Now let's check it out. You can see it will give us 1. If I use here 4 again, and now I check, you can see it will give us 0. Why? Because a is not anymore greater than b. Now if here I use equals to, then it will give us 1. You can clearly see, it will give us 1. Now I clear this screen. Okay, now after that we are going to use less than equals to. First I use less than, and here I change this value with some value like 1, and here I'm using GCC hello, and after that using the statement. Okay, now you can see it is not true, that's why it give us 0, because a is greater than b, not less than. Okay, now if I use here -1, -1, and after that I run this code again, you can see now it will give us 1, because -4 is less than 1. Okay, now if here I use 1 and now I compile and run, you can see it will give us 0, because it is not anymore less than, because they are equal. And in that case I use here equal. Okay, now again I run this code and you can see it will give us 1. Okay, now after that we have another relational operator which is not equal. For that we use exclamation mark, I use shift +1, and after that equals, and now you can see it will give us false, because a equals to 1 and b equals to 1, both are equal, and we are checking whether it is not equal. That's why it will give us false. You can see it will give us 0. Now if I change this 1 with any value 8 other than 1, then it will give us true, because now they are not equal. You can see it will give us 1. Okay, so this is how you can use relational operator in C. Okay, now after that we are going to discuss about logical operator. First we have logical AND operator, then we have logical OR operator, and then we have logical NOT operator. Okay, now how we can use this operator in our C. Okay, first of all understand how it works. Okay, now first we have AND operator, AND operator. Here we have a table, condition 1, C1, C2, and output. Okay, now if it is true and this is also true, then it will give us output in 1, it will give us 1. If it is true and it is false, it will give us output as 0, because it is not true. And if our condition 1 is false and condition 2 is true, then again it will give us 0. And if both are false, in that case also it will give us 0, means not true. Okay, now after that we have OR operator, means we have condition 1, condition 2, and then output. Now for true and true it will give us 1, and true and false it will give us 1, and false and true it will give us 1, and false and false, if both are condition false, then it will give us 0. And our NOT operator is nothing but it will change the condition. If it is true, then it will give us, our operator, NOT operator, not give us false. And if it is false, then our NOT will give us true, means 1. In this case it will give us 0, because means not. We are going to negotiate. We are going to negation. We provide negation. If it is true, then convert it to false. If it is false, then it convert it to true, means we are changing the condition. If true, then convert to false,
and if it is false then convert to true. Okay, in some case we are need to check if it is true, just convert it to false, and if it is false then convert it to true. Okay, we will see how we can do that also. Now this is how it works. In AND, if both the condition is true then it will true, give us 1, and in OR, if one of the statement is true it will give us 1, and if both are false then it will give us 0, and in this case one of them is false then it will give us 0. Okay, to perform logical operator I declare int a, and after that I use a equals to 4 equals to 4, and for logical AND operator I use double ampersand, shift and 7, and here you can see we use double ampersand, and after that I check 3 is less than or equals to 6 or not. If both the condition is true then it will give us 1, else it will give us 0. Here I use printf, and here I provide checking logical operator 0 or 1 equals to %d, and here I use comma a after semicolon. Now we are going to run this code gcc, and here I use hello.c, and after that a dot, and after that we run the code. You can see answer is 1 because both the condition is true. Now if I false this condition 4 by using 2, and after that run this code again, you can see now it will give us 0. If it is true and it is false, I false this condition by changing it 1. Okay, you can see it will again give us 0. Similarly you can check for other condition. If both are false then obviously it will give us 0. Okay, now both the condition is false, I check it for this condition also. Now after that we are going to use, here I change this 4, and here I use OR. For that I use shift plus forward slash. It will give us this parallel line. Okay, now if both the condition is true it is also true. If any of them is true it will give us 2, means 1. Okay, now let's check it out. You can see first condition is true but second is false. Now let's check the output. You can see it will give us 1, and if both are true, let's do that. I use here 6 and I clear this. Now here I use this statement. You can see it is again true. If both are false, you can see I use here 8 and here I use 2, and now let's run this code. You can see if both are false then it will give us false. Now after that we are going to use not operator. For that I just remove this because we only need one state, and to use not we have to just provide here parenthesis, and after this in the starting of the statement we use negation. Now here you can see 4 is not equals to 8, that's why it is false. Now check the output. You can see it will give us 1, means it changed this false statement to true. Now if I use here 4 and after that I run, you can see it will give us 0 because it changed this true statement to false. Okay, This is how you can use logical operator in C. Okay. Now let's talk about the operator precedence of all the operators that we use. Okay. Now first of all, you can see negation having, not operator having high priority, and after that multiplication, division and modulus having second highest priority, and then it moves downward. Okay. Now here you can see our equal operator again having least priority, and second least is our OR operator, and after that we have AND operator, and then we have relational operator. Okay, so on. This is the priority index of our operator that we use. Okay. Now let's talk about the assignment operator. Here you can see we have first equal operator which we already use. We can declare a variable int a equals to 40. This is called assignment operator. It assigned 40 to our variable a, and after that we have plus equal operator. Now what it do, for example, we have this equal a equals to 40. Now we can use a plus equals we can use a plus equals to 2. It means it is how it look like is a equals to a plus 2, and similarly we can use a minus a equals to a minus 2. If here we use minus a equals to a minus 2, a minus equals to 2, it means this, and if we use a multiply equals to 2, then it is a equals to a multiply 2, and similarly we can use a divide equals to 2, means a equals to a divided by. Now first of all let's see the answer of this. Now here you can see a is 40 plus 2 is 42, and here you can see 42 minus 2, which is 42 minus 2 is equals to 40 again, and 40 into 2 is 80, and 80 divided by 2 is again 40. And we perform this operation in sequentially, then we get the exact value that we assign. Okay, now let's see how it will work. Okay, now here I declare three variables int a comma b comma c comma d also, and after that I use here a equals to 20, b equals to 30, c equals to 40, and d equals to 80. Okay, now here I just use first a plus equals to 2, b minus equals to 3, c multiply equals to 10, and then we use d divide equals to 4. Okay, now just remove this all white spaces. Okay, now you can clearly see the operation. Now here I use print f and value of a. Here I use %d and comma a, after that semicolon. I just duplicate this in 3 times. Okay, now here I change b, c, d. Now here also I change d, c, b. Now let's run this code, gcc, and after that I run this code. You can see both are coming same line, that's why you cannot read. I just use backslash and I just use try again and again. Now after this I use clear. Now here I use the command compile, then run this code. You can see first we have 22 because 20 plus 2 is 22, and then we have minus 3, which is 30 minus 3 is 27. Then we have 40 multiplied with 10, 400, and after that we have 80 divided by 4, which is 20. You can see the value. Okay, so this is how you can use assignment operator, and you can shorten this operator by using plus equals to, minus equals to, multiply equals to, and divide equals to. Okay.